With the first dawn of curiosity in man's mind, the quest for knowledge begins. Books defy both time and space. They carry the ideas of the ancient and the modern, the distant and the near. They can be consulted by anyone at any time. Through them, ideas and knowledge become the common property of all men. Yet, in early times, reading was the privilege of a few. Books were precious and rare, and people were too busy making a living. But the seed of knowledge must be sown far and wide. Today, the number of libraries of all kinds in the United States is well over 11,000. About 1/3 of the people have access to free books and book services. Another 1/3 have some, the rest have none. How was this started? Back in 1731, the famous American scholar, diplomat, scientist, statesman, Benjamin Franklin established a free lending library in Philadelphia. In 1833, the first tax-supported public library in America opened. Right here, 100 and some years ago, there was only a handful of books in one room, accessible to readers a few hours a week. A century passed, and now 6,000 public libraries spread over the land. They are maintained by local government from the proceeds of taxation. Many of them were started by publicly minded citizens, and some were endowed. Perhaps the saga of the American library would not be complete without this story. In the steel town of Pittsburgh, there is a statue before a public library in honor of a certain Colonel Anderson. In 1850, he picked a boy on the street to read in his library. This boy happened to be Andrew Carnegie. So years later, he translated his gratitude by giving $43 million for libraries in communities all over the country. Behind the century's expansion of the American Public Library is the incessant effort of the American Library Association. Founded in 1876, it is a professional association of librarians and libraries. It constantly strives after more and better library services, new and unexplored library techniques, and the education of better librarians. For instance, in the Columbia Library School, college graduates are offered a one-year course studying administrative problems, cataloging, literature, history of books, psychology, and other subjects. It is the work and inspiration of a librarian to make the library a living thing. A librarian is not only interested in books, he or she must above all be interested in people. Let's take a big city. A real big city like New York. Its life pattern is most complex, its people are of many types, and its living tempo is fast. The New York Public Library system consists of one central branch for research and some 50 branches for circulation. In the main reading room, silently they scan through millions of index cards, which are guides to the library's subject matter. Even if the cards are self-explanatory, sometimes the readers are lost in the sea of books. Then the librarian is always ready to lend a hand. Perhaps the most patronized room in any library is the periodical room. Here, hundreds of magazines, monthly, quarterly, weekly, of general interest and professional specialization, are available to everyone. Serious students, as well as leisurely, appreciative persons, dwell in this realm of art. Many precious books beyond the private purse are open to careful hands. Special cellophane sheets are provided for tracing purposes. A library can be a workshop at the same time. An intense atmosphere prevails in the engineering and science department. Information on plastics, aeronautics, television, all food for the reader's searching mind. Here, costly reference books, encyclopedias, as well as the latest technical books, give everyone a chance to advance himself in his field of interest. Public libraries further strive after equal opportunity for the physically handicapped to seek knowledge. Braille books for the blind. Many ancient classics as well as current literature are included. They shed light into darkness through the touch of fingers. A talking book is a series of phonograph records of a publication. It opens up a world of imagination through the ears.
Marley was dead. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail.
Another type of library activity is its collection of music records. By means of earphones, one can listen to chosen records without disturbing fellow readers. Today, libraries take positive steps to spur the interest of a community on topics pertinent to living. Exhibitions on politics, jobs, education, and trends in civilization have widened the people's perspective and induced them to learn more. The library is by no means an institution only for adults and education. Children's imagination should be opened up as early as possible. What is imprinted on their minds now will serve as spiritual storage in the journey through life. Neighborhood libraries will live long in children's memories for another reason. Veteran storytellers travel from branch to branch, feed both the children's yearning for good stories and the desire for warm companionship.